Hi, everyone. This is Michelle Gramolia, and today is Tuesday, October 26th, 2021, and this is my weekly update, our weekly address on a Tuesday, a very gloomy Tuesday, of course. So I do have several updates and so forth across a variety of topics, but I just wanted to remind you, of course, that, if you ever want to get in touch with me, you can always do so via email, at my desk, or stop me in the hall. So if I touch on something here and you're interested in learning more about it or whatever, definitely stop by or grab me or give me a call or whatever. I'll give you whatever information I can. So before I proceed into my list, I want to wish a very special happy 100th birthday to Arthur Weiss. You see Arthur today, make sure you give him, a distance kiss or a distance hug. Wish him a happy birthday. I know that tonight the 7 o'clock celebration is going to be, I think, one for the record books. I just want to make a quick reminder that we did have to do signups for this because we still have limitations on the space. So we are limited to 100 people. So if you are on the wait list and we have not contacted you to actually have a spot at the celebration, then I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to be there tonight. But I'm sure that you'll all be there in spirit. So happy birthday, Arthur. Okay, so a few things related to the dining room. I guess we'll start there. We are getting ready to, as Ronnie had announced last week, she's going to be issuing a memo with a whole variety of details on what you can expect, coming up with changes in the dining room related to reservation system, related to the cycle menu, a whole bunch of things. So that you should have that memo by the end of this week to give you an update as to where we are on all things dining. But sort of in the newsy category, just a few things. I mentioned this last week, but Ronnie asked that I mention it again. We did resume brunch on Sundays, and we do have 2 seatings at noon and 12:30. So we are really hoping to see you all get out and enjoy brunch. So that's nice, and that's back on the schedule. We also have burgers back on the menu. I think that you probably all have realized that. So that's exciting as well. And we have a new face, a new wait staff member who actually is primarily assigned to the hostess station. Her name is Ruth. So if you are going by at the desk, say hi to Ruth. She can help you with a reservation. And then she can help you check in for your meal. So you can go ahead and say hi to Ruth if you see her there. And the last thing on dining, and this is actually going to be sort of a recurring theme for a couple of different things today, but we do have a whole bunch of new residents that have joined us. Welcome. Since we kind of came out of the restrictions of the pandemic. And I just want to make a reminder to everyone, existing residents, new residents, visiting people. We cannot have any assistive devices in the dining room at all. So once you are seated at the table, our staff will need to take your walker or wheelchair out of the dining room. We have had a number of incidents over the last, several years where a resident has tripped on someone's wheeled device in the dining room. So it's always been our policy that those items cannot be in the dining room. And we really need everybody to cooperate with that because it truly is a safety hazard. We've actually had residents that have suffered pretty significant injuries in trips and falls on such things. So if you're unfamiliar with the dining policy and what the rules are there, it's in the handbook, it's in your resident handbook, but essentially what it states is that, as I just said, we cannot have any assistive devices in the dining room. So what I always recommend is if you're concerned about, getting from the cart room to the into the dining room, or you're concerned about not being able to ambulate if you need to, you can always just carry a cane as well. So you can bring your walker down and then also just have a cane with you. So the cane can be with you at the table if you have one. That's always a great alternative. But anyone that can transfer from their wheelchair, if you're in one, must transfer. That's the rule. And we've long had that policy. And again, it's strictly for safety reasons. Those devices can really create a significant trip hazard. So we really can't have them in the dining room. Also, same thing in the pack. We have increased our capacity of what's permitted in the pack in terms of occupancy. And we are really seeing a lot of people that are coming into the pack with your assistive devices, primarily walkers and rollators. We can't have that. So you need to leave your assistive device in the hallway by the pool. If you cannot ambulate utilizing walker free, then you can go ahead and have a seat, and then someone will need to remove that for you, whether it be our staff or a resident. And then we will bring that back to you. But again, these take up a lot of room. They're sort of kind of funky shaped. The wheels that stick out, all kinds of things, big trip hazard. So we can't have those in the pack now that we're back to more capacity. If you have any questions on any of this stuff, you can see myself, Sarah, Mary Jo, Ronnie, and we can clarify that for you and just kind of point out in the handbook where all of that is covered. Let's see, vaccines. I think you all saw my update in the Chanticleer on Friday. We are on the radar for independent living. We are on the radar for the Institute for Family Health to do a booster for the Moderna vaccine. That's primarily independent living residents and private duty companions. But they do not have their supply yet, and they have not gotten any word from the Department of Health as to when they will get that. So I have heard from a number of you that the online booking appointment for the Moderna vaccine at Walgreens is very simple. So if you wanted to make yourself an appointment for a booster at Walgreens, you're more than welcome to. And Wednesdays, I think, are the days that we go into New Paltz to do New Paltz with the bus to do shopping and so forth. So you could schedule for tomorrow if you want, hop on the bus, get your booster. Otherwise, you can wait and see how things pan out with the Institute for Family Health in the corner. So that's where we're at with the boosters for independent living. For the health center, we do have a tentative booster clinic date, which is, this is for Pfizer. And this is for the health center residents that had Pfizer, and as well the bulk of our staff who were vaccinated in January on the first push, which was also the Pfizer vaccine. So I put that date in the Chanticleer. I believe it's the 9th of November, but don't quote me on that. Just look at the Chanticleer from last week. That was, again, a tentative date. We work with an offshoot of CVS on that. They provide the date to us. So once we have that, we will make notification to all of you. Let's see, a COVID update. So we did have the one staff member in the dietary department in assisted living that did test positive last week. I made the announcement. She was symptomatic and she was vaccinated. So she had a test off-site and she came back positive. So we did have to place assisted living only on droplet precautions. And that is because that staff member had been here on campus during the incubation period, which is 10 to 14 days. And so there was an exposure risk, theoretically. Knock on wood, we have not had any other staff members develop any symptoms. All of the staff have been testing, and as well, we tested the residents last week. We will test them all again this Thursday. And if all of those tests come back negative, then we will be able to release the droplet precautions. So that would be great. So that's where we are on that. A few of you have asked, there's a familiar face that's been out of the office at the front desk for a couple of weeks or going on a couple of weeks, and have asked, the reason for that. And of course, I mean, anybody that's out for any reason, that's a personnel issue. We can't share any information, but I do just want to confirm that as always, if there's ever any opportunity or any chance that a staff member has any kind of a communicable disease and you all have been exposed or staff have been exposed because that person has been on campus during an incubation period for COVID or for the flu or for whatever, we're always going to make notification to you. So if you have not been notified of that, then nothing to worry about. Well, let's see, tomorrow afternoon, there is a can't miss meeting. Christy will be presenting the proposed certain aspects of the proposed budget, including the proposed monthly service fee changes in the PAC tomorrow at 3 p.m. And I believe, let's see. Yes, that actually will be aired on channel 1340. That is also the annual meeting of the Resident Association, which you are all members of. And that's a meeting that's required to be held annually, and everyone is welcome. But Christy will take the opportunity to present to you again some of the preliminary budget information and as well the proposed monthly service fees for 2022. You will also get a memo on that, so you can look for that in your cubby by the end of the week. Let's see, just another personnel type update. You also are probably noticing that another familiar face, Cassidy, is not around in independent living as much as she was, although she still is, and she's always welcome. But Cassidy has taken a new position here at Woodland Pond, and we couldn't be happier for her. She is now officially the in charge of our medical record. So it's actually called the Healthcare Information Management position. And also she is a dual role as providing unit clerk services to assisted living and Garden View. So as we all know, Cassidy is very capable, always cooperative, always with a smile. She is still around to do drips and drabs of resident technology assistant, so RTA work. But congratulations to Cassidy and best of luck. If you do have a technology need in your apartment or cottage, you can certainly call Concierge or reception, and we can get you situated. We do have a resident technology specialist. His name is Patrick Turner, and he is around a couple of days a week. So if we get your name on the list, we can also send Patrick to help you as well. So no worries with that. One more calendar thing I just wanted to mention. We do have actually two things. Tomorrow, the Millbrook Preserve, no, I'm sorry, Thursday at 3 p.m. The folks from the Millbrook Preserve are going to be here to talk a little bit about the history of the Millbrook Preserve, what it offers, some information about, the people that oversee the preserve. And I think all of you know, or many of you know, that the Millbrook Preserve is preserved open space here in the community that backs up to our property. And our trail system sort of, ends up abutting into the preserve property. So you might be interested in that. And then at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon, all new residents, and I'm not going to put a time frame on that, but anyone that is new within the last year or two, and you haven't been to a new resident orientation yet, you are invited to come to the new resident orientation. And that will be sort of a round robin of all of the department heads talking a bit about what we each do, what you can expect from our departments, and so forth. So we'd love to see you there. And I think the last thing I just want to mention is we did roll out some enhanced expectations related to visitors on campus, primarily in independent living. And our hands are kind of tied in the health center, but in terms of independent living, where we can make, whatever protocols we want. In discussion with the Residents Council last week, we did roll out some new expectations for the concierge desk and visitors that are on campus. We changed the front door signs. The expectation is that any unvaccinated visitors of any type or age or for any reason, anyone that's not vaccinated should be, of course, checking in with concierge. Every visitor has to check in with concierge. To be screened, we have to, verify vaccination status. We are going to be asking for proof of vaccination. So anyone that does not provide proof of vaccination will be asked to double mask. And they're actually given a sheet now that explains what's expected and to proceed directly to their destination here on campus. No hanging out in the hallways, no use of common areas and so forth. And that's really at the joint decision or request or thought process as I said, in working with the Residents Council. So just trying to keep COVID off campus as much as possible. We are continuing to encourage everyone to wear masks anytime you can on campus. There's absolutely no harm in it. I think COVID certainly is still very much here, and certainly vaccinated people, which everybody on campus that lives here or works here is at this point, with a very rare exception. We can all still kind of share this thing. So I wear my mask all the time. It's a requirement of staff, and there's a reason for that. It's because it helps stop the spread of COVID. So I would strongly recommend that anytime you can wear a mask, you should be. If you're in common areas, obviously, like you can't wear them in the pool, you can't wear them in the dining room, but if you're in a meeting, if you're, sitting, watching a presentation, watching a movie, you should have a mask on. Not a requirement right now on campus, but definitely a strong recommendation. So if you have any questions on anything that I've just said, or you'd like to chat, just reach out to me and I will see you soon. Thank you.